Imagine rolling up to a prehistoric speed dating event covered in jagged, terrifying gashes, and suddenly becoming the most irresistible person in the entire cave. Today, if you show up to a date with a massive scar running across your face, people ask if you need an ambulance or a therapist. But 50,000 years ago, that battle damage was basically the ancient equivalent of driving a shiny red sports car and flexing a six-figure bank account. Scars weren't ugly. They were the ultimate evolutionary flex. But how did getting ripped apart by a saber-toothed tiger become the highest form of riz in human history? And why does your brain still secretly find short-term facial scars attractive today? Stick around, because the bizarre evolutionary science behind why we love a good villain origin story mark is about to make you view your own battle wounds in a whole new light. Let's be honest, modern dating standards are exhausting. You need good skin, perfect teeth, a solid career, and a bio that doesn't make you sound like a serial killer. Now let's look at caveman Bob back in 30,000 BC. Bob didn't have skincare routines or silk pillowcases. Bob had dirt, unbrushed teeth, and a severe lack of personal hygiene. But Bob had something way better, a massive, gnarly scar running down his left arm from when he tried to pet a cave bear. While unscarred caveman Chad was over by the fire showing off his perfectly smooth, unblemished skin, the ladies were ignoring Chad completely and flocking to Bob. Why? Because smooth skin in the Stone Age didn't mean you were handsome. It meant you were lazy, useless, or had been hiding in a hole while everyone else was hunting mammoths. In a world where every single day was a game of Russian roulette against nature, a scar was a walking resume. So what is the actual biology behind this weird attraction? Enter two massive scientific concepts: good genes theory and immunocompetence signaling. Back before modern medicine, antibacterial soap and stitches, getting a deep cut meant one thing: infection. A tiny scratch from a bush could turn into a raging bacterial war zone that killed you in 48 hours. If a caveman had a gigantic, healed scar, it proved two huge things to potential mates. First, he was brave enough and strong enough to survive a violent encounter with a giant predator or a rival tribe. Second, his immune system was an absolute tank. His body had fought off filth, bacteria, and infection without dying. In evolutionary biology terms, showing off a healed scar was like slapping a verified badge on your forehead that said, "My genetics are elite, and my offspring won't die of a common cold." To make things even wilder, evolutionary psychologists discovered a fascinating twist in how men and women perceive scars depending on what kind of relationship they want. Studies show that when people look at faces with subtle facial scars caused by trauma or combat, they automatically associate that person with higher levels of testosterone, risk-taking, and dominance. Because of this, evolutionary biology wired humans to find facial scars insanely attractive for short-term hookups and fling-style relationships. The brain subconsciously reads the scar as a sign of a dangerous, high-energy partner who can protect the tribe right now. However, for long-term relationships and raising kids, people historically preferred partners with fewer scars, associating smooth skin with stability, cooperation, and less likelihood of getting killed next Tuesday. To see how this played out in the wild, let's look at our buddy Grog. Grog is trying to impress the coolest girl in the tribe, but he has 0 scars. He looks like he just dropped out of caveman college. Desperate for clout, Grog decides to get a scar the hard way. He goes out, finds a giant prehistoric badger, and tries to pick a fight. The badger wrecks him, leaving 3 huge scratches down his chest. Grog stumbles back to the camp, bleeding, looking like an absolute mess but grinning from ear to ear. The tribe looks at him, totally mesmerized. He didn't just survive an attack. His body is actively flexing its healing powers right in front of them. Grog instantly ascends to chief status, all because his immune system beat up some ancient bacteria. So if scars were the ultimate prehistoric turn-on, why aren't we all slicing ourselves up before going on Tinder dates today? Well, as society evolved, the traits needed for survival shifted completely. Once we built safe cities, invented antibiotics, and stopped fighting giant hyenas for dinner, physical violence and crazy risk-taking stopped being top-tier survival traits. Wealth, intelligence, emotional stability, and not getting eaten by taxes took over. Plus, modern medical technology meant that having a scar no longer proved you had a mutant immune system. It usually just proved you were clumsy on a skateboard. Yet, despite thousands of years of civilization, that ancient caveman brain wiring never fully disappeared. It's the exact reason action movie heroes, anime villains, and rugged main characters always have that one iconic scar across their eye. Our ancestors literally judged potential partners by how well they survived being mauled, leaving us with a leftover mental glitch that makes bad boys and battle damage look effortlessly cool. But while physical battle scars helped ancient humans pass on their genes, what happens when nature forces humans to develop a mental superpower so bizarre it turns terror into total control? Click the video on your screen right now to find out why ancient humans were terrified of what happened when they fell asleep. Go click it before Grog steals your spot in the cave.